the goals and plans of the METÁR tender. We are on the 16th of September 2020, so this is a very actual topic. And if you look at my presentation, I would like to highlight a couple of issues. One is the framework of the strategy, also the experience of the pilot tender. Since yesterday, we have the second tender already, and we also would like to mention our goals. And I also calculated with some Q&A section as well. I hope that I will be able to answer your questions. As for the strategic framework, we of course cannot bypass the current challenges. We need to see the whole picture, and I was looking at last year's figure, and you see that the capacity of the Hungarian power plants is 9,100 megawatt, and also we have the Paks nuclear power plant, and I think that this is a very important capacity. Also, there are additional 3,500 megawatts of coal power plants, and we also have a newly created renewables capacity. This is 1,700 megawatts, and it is continuously growing, especially due to the photovoltaic project, and the figures are continuously growing. And if we look at the renewables, you can see that according to the first quarter figures, 1,016 megawatt small photovoltaic power plants are ready, and also we have home consumer photovoltaic systems. And we can also see that if we look back at last 10 years, we were able to see biomass increase. But the last 2-3 years, alongside the domestic photovoltaic power production, we also have small commercial power plants. And you can also see that within the total mix, energy mix, the photovoltaic segment is continuously growing. So this is also a challenge. And the other challenge is the guarantee of supply, and also the cost-efficient implementation of the system integration. So our goal is that if we look at the future, it should be a flexible and climate-friendly energy sector. Basically see that the new energy strategy is very much connected to this, all the goals, and we put all the thematic programs behind this. This energy strategy was accepted by the government this January, and the climatic plan is also being approved and sent to the European Commission. As for the targets, first of all, we joined that EU initiative to be climate neutral by 2050 and to reduce the greenhouse gas emission by 40% till 2030, and the percentage of the share of the renewables for 13 we will increase to 21%. What can really help us in reaching these goals? Now the majority of the electricity demands will be fulfilled via nuclear power and also renewables, especially photovoltaic. And 90% of electricity should be carbon free. And by the year 2030, the new blocks of the packaged nuclear power plant will be commissioned, and our goal is to have bigger share of renewables in the energy mix. You can see that the photovoltaics is the more promising possibility for Hungary, and we say that this renewable increase will be based on the dynamic growth of the PV sector. We also have other goals like support geothermal energy as well. Look at the figures, and this is also very important. We look at our target numbers on the PV market. By 2022, a 3,000 megawatt capacity will be supported, and within 10 years, we are going to increase the PV capacity sixfold. So by 2020, at least 6,000 megawatt PV capacity it should be installed, and by 2040, 12,000 megawatt is calculated. Also, it's important to underline, so this capacity growth is not only due to the individual providers, but also small power plants, and for that it is important to continuously run this renewable support scheme launched last year, and to evaluate our experiences and to publish the new tender calendar. And what task we have still, of course, there are other initiatives as well related to PV sector, and we will also need to look at them. First of all, we want to support those initiatives that make local use of electricity easier and also help us to integrate these renewable energy sources more efficiently. And the key word is the energy community, and it is in a central issue. And this March we launched a project, a tender, and based on the experience of the previous projects, we would like to move forward with operative projects. The regulation of these energy communities is also an important element of the EU energy policy as well. And this is a new tool that is completely new in the EU, and the Hungarian legislation has to understand this new concept. We have a lot of new regulatory tasks, but we are not alone with this. What is also important, we also support local energy investments and development that are based on renewables. We looked for different projects, and you can see that there is also an efficient green district heating program, for instance. What should also be highlighted from the new developments that we launch a smart meter program. In our energy strategy, we have a target number of 1 million smart meters installed by 2030. And of course, if there are several different tariff plans, these smart meters would greatly help in reducing costs and working more efficiently. And there was already an amendment of the Energy Act where at certain consumer point we require an installation of a smart meter. There are certain consumption points where the installation of these smart meters will be delayed. And what should also be highlighted is that we would like to give place to a project that help the different bodies to be prepared for the climatic changes and to be able to consider the climatic changes in the strategies and the implementation of all these strategies. And we have a 3-year project that will be looking into the exposure of the Hungarian energy systems to the climatic changes.
annak érdekében, hogy az ellátásbiztonság, amelyet szerintem egy picit cizellálnunk kell ebből a szempontból,
in order to guarantee the
garantálva legyen
continuous supply.
Ezzel a projekttel is
So we are counting on the results of this project, and we also have innovation projects as well.
Lényegében itt is a zöldítési programokon keresztül próbáljuk az innovációs lehetőségeket
we want to map these innovation capacities, and we also had a tender for support of this innovative project with the budget of 12 billion forints. It generated great interest. So I think that you can see from these results and these targets and goals that we are witnessing a significant structural change in the energy sector, and we need to keep up with the different new trends. And maybe some figures about renewables. The European goal is to increase the current 18 to 20% of renewables in the energy consumption. And since we see this share growing, we also understand that the technology is improving, and in the last couple of years in Hungary, plenty of legislative changes were made. We created new instruments for support of renewables. And the technology plays a significant role in this sector, and we can also see that compared to the 2014, when we utilized 647 terajoules of PV, in 2019 over 5,600 terajoule energy were utilized with PV systems, and this is a significant result. And if we look at this percentage-wise, from 2010 to 2020, we increased the renewables by 27%, and also the household power plant capacity reached 461 megawatt, and 10 years ago it was only 1 megawatt. So this is a completely new sector, and we can see that this support scheme is definitely needed for this development. Very important to know that when we talk about these figures, that these definitely reduce the energy dependency of Hungary, because the PV systems generated in the first quarter around 270 gigawatt hours and fed them into the system and the grid, and that is there is also a figure that we should highlight, that if we compare the first quarter of 2018 and 2020, the import from the total energy consumption due to the photovoltaic development, the 33% share was reduced to 27%, and this is a significant result in terms of the service security. And what I will be talking now, the Renewable Support Scheme, the METAR, I would like to mention that the first pilot was launched in 2019. It has been closed. We evaluated the result. We were able to achieve a 30% cost reduction with these tenders. Following the second one, we expect another 5 tenders till the second part of 2022. Summarize these strategic results, we can see that due to the increase in the photovoltaic sector and also due to the nuclear stability, we can see that we are getting closer to our strategic goal to have 90% of the total domestic energy production carbon free. And now we shall be moving to that part of the presentation that is about the METAR system. And since 2017, the feed-in tariffs has been replaced by Renewable Support Scheme, and support for the implementation of a new system can only be done via tendering system. The producer himself sells the generated electricity and receives subsidies above the market reference price. Now, the tenders for the METAR are published by METR, usually for 300 to 500 gigawatt hour production, and according to our plan, these tenders will be published every 6 months. And on this diagram, you can see the available subsidiary budget till 2026, and altogether 45 billion forints are available. And the feed-in tariff system was in place till 2019, and it was 1 billion forints per year, and there will be a green premium that was 1 billion forints in the past, and the given year the brown premium is receiving 20 billion forints annually, and it could be reduced every year by the previous tendering budget. With relation to the pilot system, the first METAR pilot was published in September 2019. The results were announced on March 2020, and the applications were submitted in November-December 2019. We received 151 of those, and the applications covered 66% of the 1 billion budget. And you can see the most important elements of this tender. The budget was 1 billion forints, 200 gigawatt hours per year, and the timeline for the commercial operation was 3 years, and there were two categories. One, the low category, so between 1.3 to 1 megawatt, and the big category that was 1 to 20 megawatt production. And the total available subsidy for one owner was 15 gigawatt hour per year. And also, in terms of equal value bids, the greenfield investment were preferred. And the implementation had to be done within 3 years. What can we see from the prices is that the winning project were bidding lower prices than asked in the tender material. In the small category, the lowest winning price was 21.2 forint per kilowatt hours, while in the big categories it was 20.2 forint per kilowatt hour. You can see that on the top. Part. We can also see that the applications greatly exceeded the requested amount. So, and the price was lower than the feed-in tariffs in the past. So the technology is greatly developed, and we can produce energy close to the market price. What is interesting is that we had 72 winning bids. And what kind of problems we experience in submitted bids? For instance, there were certain non-compliances, maybe expiration of deadline, some minor issues, and maybe others, like, for instance, missing brownfield statements or other minor issues that made the bids non-winning. We are able to reduce the CO2 emission by 75,000 tons due to these tenders, and it could cover the total of energy consumption of 93,000 households. And another figure worth mentioning is that these new investments have a value of 40 billion forints. And you can also see that compared to the subsidies paid under the feed-in tariffs, we were able to achieve a 27% price decrease in a small category and 33% in a big category. And you can see that photovoltaic sector grew the biggest, because the majority of the bids came from this sector. And the second tender that was published in July 2020, and The bid deadline is October 15 in electronic form. You can see the different details of this tender, and see the amount of electricity is 390 gigawatt hour per year, and the budget is 800 million forints, and the operational deadline is 3 years. We also have two categories, the low category up to 1 megawatts and the high category over 1 megawatt. And you can see the figures here. And 15 gigawatt per hour per year, or 175 gigawatt hour per year in the two categories for the same owner. And we can only support local Hungarian generation. So altogether, I can see that in the last couple of years, we created a project development environment that represent SMEs, but that the market is dedicated, and it makes possible to have a price competition. And our goal is, of course, a reduction of the energy import. And we can see that the system validates these goals and these initiatives. We can also say that the prices are below the feed-in tariff system, and the winners are exclusively representing the Hungarian SMEs, and this is a successful step, and the technology development also provides new possibilities, and we are going to evaluate the results, and we would like to continue with this METÁR system. And you can see that this is the new tender calendar. We already have the second tender, and we expect the next 4 tenders. And you can see the different budgets and figures on this slide. And of course, whatever is unused will be added to the next year's budget. I hope that I was able to fit into the time frame, and that is what I could tell you about the METAR and also the energy strategy. And if you have any questions, I try to answer those. Thank you very much for your attention. Main sponsor, Huawei.